Today is Monday, April 7th, 2025. I've been meaning to video all this. I missed a few days, but anyhow, we got the concrete poured for this 80 by 75. We got I think it took 8 loads of road base to fill up this inside here. Now we're going to put about 3 loads of screenings on it. It rained over the weekend. We got it packed in with the roller. Got the Skytrek there. We just started on the first rafter, what I call the jig rafter. It was a little muddy out here, so this particular set of sawhorses, when we set the beam up here, it just happened to be dead nuts level on it, so we didn't have to shim anything up. This side over here, we ended up having to shim, just because the sawhorse was sat down in a hole. We shimmed it up. Now we've got our clips on, and this goes back to some of those videos I've made on the chalkboard showing you how I do it. We always start our first clip, or I do, 6 inches back from the center, and then we did the math on it. These just happen to be 3'7" 5/8 between the clips, so we do the math on the calculator. And I always leave this center part unwelded so that we can hook a tape in there and be able to pull our measurements. Now, this is just something we do, or I do. Whenever we make that mark, I always put the clip on the downhill side. I don't know why, just something, that phrase, everything's downhill from here, kind of sticks in my mind. So we put when the guys make the marks, we just put all of our clips on the downhill side. Now this rafter will be run long here, and we won't know where to cut it off yet until we get our column stood up and we get a measurement on inside to inside of the columns. But once we do get that measurement and I do the math on it, we will cut our 2 12 pitch on both ends, and then we'll clamp a clip on here on the line before we cut it, and we'll pull a tape as tight as we can across the to the other side to see if we don't get that measurement on our columns. We always double, triple check our measurements before we cut anything off, because you can add, well, you can add back to it, but it's better if you just double check your measurements. So we used to weld these clips on 100%, but on both sides now we just weld them 50% on one side, 50 on the other. And these soap marks here, what we're going to do is get these 4-inch square tubings. We'll set these 4-inch square tubings up here as a spacer, because they're higher than the clips. We'll space them out here, 4 or 5. We're going to put 5 on this 40-foot run, and then we'll go. All of our rafters are cut. Here's some of them right here, but we've cut the ends on them. One end on a 2 12. can see we've already got one end cut. We made a jig. I don't know what they did with that jig, but more or less it's just a flat iron jig. And then this piece here is flat iron that we made to go in between. So once you cut this flange and this flange, you basically use this to connect the dots. And then we'll use a framing square to check, make sure that this is flush all the way across. If anything, I would rather the web be a little bit short than sticking out. You can always weld that up when you go to weld up your beams. So the next step is, once they get that welded, we're going to take 2 of these rafters that are already cut. We'll set one on this side, one on that side, and we'll use the square tubing to slide them together. And we will use a straight edge, more or less a big speed square, to line up the 2 flanges. Once we get it where we want, then we'll transfer these clip marks onto the next rafter. That will ensure that, you know, we're shooting for a 2 and 12 pitch, but whatever we ended up on, a little less than a 2 and 12, a little more than a 2 and 12, or right on a 2 and 12, every one of these rafters is going to be the same. They'll be close enough for what we're doing. Sonny's welding on a piece of flat bar. We don't always do this, only on the bigger rafters, but we'll take a piece of 1/2 inch by 6 inch flat bar and we'll weld it on there. It's not really for strength. I mean, it is helping, but main thing what it's for is when we put that big strap on there, it just gives a flat spot to pick up on that strap. And you know, I'm putting a lot of faith in Sonny's welds here that it won't fall down.
It'll hold.
He says it'll hold, so we'll see. Anyhow, once we get the next setup on the sawhorses, I'll try and film exactly how we laid out this first one, and to give you a better idea